everyone, this is Veronica from So It Seems, and I want to welcome you to my studio. I have not had the chance really to share with you how this studio came to be. Back in the late part of May, I began a big renovation in order to change this garage where I'm sitting into my studio. I have some footage that I took during that time to show you the process of what I went through. And right now I want to show you week one of what it took for me to create my sewing studio. Now with the video, some of the sound does come out of sync from just different shots, and I'm not really sure why. I did the recording on my phone and I am still getting used to how it will respond, and sometimes it just does not enjoy taking videos in a proper way. But I've kept a lot of the footage in, and since I'm editing now on my phone and I'm not really sure how to utilize the program really well, I don't know how to change the sound to match up to the video. But you'll still get the idea of what I was doing and the work I went through. So this is a bit of a longer video, but I wanted to share with you how my studio came to be and just the process that I went through to get it there. So I hope you enjoy this video, not on sewing, but on creating a space that is enjoyable for me to sew. I am outside in front of my garage because I am going to be working on a big project of moving my sewing studio into the garage. Now, the big problem is that I can't just move into the garage. You can kind of see through the glass behind me in the windows there that this garage is full. I only have 1/3 of the space of the garage available to me, as 2/3 of it have already been made into an office for my husband. But this first third has just been collect-all for quite a few years. So I'll be starting off this week of emptying out the garage, sorting things, and getting it cleared out so I can turn that into a sewing studio. I'm desperately in need of some space to be able to work on projects. I've been working in the living room for many years, and it's getting a bit crowded in our small home as the children grow and as we continue to do homeschooling. We just need the space in the house. That's why I'll be clearing out this garage so that I can have a sewing studio dedicated just to my business. All right, and I'll be taking photos and videos to show you the progress. Before I can even begin opening this door, though, I'm gonna need to clear out just some of the clutter you can see just in front of the garage so that I can actually work. All right, I've got the front of the garage cleared out so that way I can start bringing things out and not be tripping over things and have a clean spot. So now we're ready to open up the garage door, and then you can get a first-hand look of what I'm dealing with today. All right, let me just show you what we've got here. All right, so there's quite a bit in here, and I'm gonna step in so you can see a little bit better. It's a little hard to see, but we are full up. You can see there's some shelving that's all the way in the back, and that's the back wall that I'm working with. So I only have 1/3 of the space here, and over there is a door, and that door, I can just step inside to get some fabric. I have tubs of fabric there. And then, as you can see, coming in here, you can't get into the garage at all. So today, the big job is going to be clearing out as much as I can. I'm not going to do a lot of sorting while I'm doing it, just some main things. The main piles will be sorting stuff that's going to come back into my sewing area. Another pile will be things that belong to my husband so that he can decide if he wants to keep or get rid of them. And then another pile of just everything else that I don't know if I want to keep or not. Things that I just want to toss and get rid of, I will just leave in a pile out here on the driveway. And once this is clear, or by the end of the evening, I will then quickly go through and see, is it trash or do I put it in the car to go take it to donate? I'm not going to bother with selling because it's just a pain and might not even be worth trying to sell just with the time and effort. So here we go, day 1, clearing out the garage. It's now 5 o'clock and I've been working pretty steadily for most of the day. I've taken a couple of breaks for meals, but I think I am just about done. I might do a little bit in the evening here and there, but I got a good portion of it done. What I have left is basically shelving along the walls, and that'll take a little bit more effort just because I'm running out of room in my house of where to put things. But I'm going to see if I can show you what I've got done in here without the sun becoming too much of a problem. So let's see. Okay, so I've got most of the floor done. Here's kind of the outside. The sun is really glaring, so it's becoming problematic to see it. But the main part of the garage is cleared out, and once I can get the shelving all emptied out, then I'll just do a really great sweep down and wipe down of everything. And then I can assess what actually needs to be done to create a good space in here. I'll probably check back in tomorrow morning when I'm ready to go in again. Good morning. It is day 2 of the garage renovation, and we have a rainy day. We don't get many of them out here in Central Oregon, but we are in spring and this is our rainy time. So today looks like a pretty solid all-day rain. So that kind of thwarts some of my plans for today. I had hoped to get the rest of this stuff. Most of it is on shelving and on the sides. I wanted to get the stuff that's back here, doors and some other things, and then also all the stuff on this shelf. I wanted to move into the shed out in the backyard. The problem with the shed right now is that it's not organized in any way, but the plan was just to put it in there temporarily. With the rain, I don't really relish the idea of running back and forth with things, trying to get them into the shed, and I do have to move a few things around. So that part of this process is going to be put off for a day or so until it is dry. But for today, I think what I'll do is I'll focus on this shelf. Most of this then is my husband's stuff and some of my own storage stuff. So I'll be getting that and just getting out into the living room. And then I'll take some measurements in here and also look at starting to sort some things in the house. I want to get some measurements because I have ideas and plans that I wanted to do in this room, but with things being taken out now, it just feels a lot smaller than what I was originally thinking. So I just need to measure things and put them out. One thing that I'm really hoping to get is an electric fireplace that someone has for sale, and it's a corner unit, and so I have this little spot right here that I think will work right here. It'll come up a little bit in front of the garage door, but especially during the cold days throughout the winter and things like that, I won't be opening the garage door. I hope to insulate the door, and then having that heater would really make it nice, and just the ambiance of having a fireplace that looks really nice. So I will get more details once I do measurements and figure out how everything will fit in here, because I still need to make a sewing space, but I also have a chair that I wanted to put in here and just kind of make a little cozy spot. So we'll see what can happen once I get everything cleared out and start working a little more in depth in this. All right, we'll check in back later to see if I was able to get anything done or if today's just a day off because of the rain. Hi everyone, well here we are at the end of day 3. Today was a sunny day and it was clear. It's actually gotten pretty hot today, but I was able to finish completely clearing out the garage. I've got everything out and did an initial sweeping and wiping down sections. So I'm gonna kind of show you. Here we have, this is the back wall. Basically this door leads from my husband's office, which is the other part of the garage, and so this is the wall that separates. Some shelving that was put in. This is the outer wall here. We have the garage door here. This will be a project in that I'm going to work on insulating it. I do have to repair some things on the door though, as now that the hinges are all completely clear and I can see the door, some of the hinges are missing bolts and nuts. So I'll be working on that, especially up here. One of the rollers is coming out because the bolt has come undone. It's gone. So I'll be looking for one of those, getting that repaired, and then I'll work on insulating it. There's also some window film that you can get that can also insulate, but then still allow light. I would like light in, but as you can see, we're in the hot part of the day, and this is western facing, so I'm getting a lot of heat coming in here right now. And then coming over here is the other wall. This is shelving that has already been here. This is the dryer vent underneath there. I wish it wasn't there, but I don't have any other option because our dryer is just on the other side of this wall. I don't have the proper outlet to be able to move the dryer out here, so it has to stay there. But I think I'm going to look at some way to shore that up a little bit better so that that vent is actually straight. That vent I actually had to replace a couple years ago. I don't know if it needs to be replaced, but it probably does need to be level. So that is basically the room. It is completely cleared out and swept. I'll also need to figure out what I'm going to do up here with the rafters. It does get cold. Oops, excuse me. It does get pretty cold in here. And so I'll be working on how I need to insulate this room so that it is more comfortable for winter and for summer, so that I can work in here year round. Now, I got all that stuff out, but let me show you where it all ended up. This is my living room, and this section here on the couch is most of my husband's things that were stored in the shed, or in the garage, sorry. Coming over here, the rest of this is my stuff that is strictly sewing room related or craft related, things that I definitely want to keep in that room. So this is in the living room, the main stuff that will be going back into the sewing room. When we come to the end of our hallway, here's some more things. And then into my girls' room, This stuff on the floor is stuff from that garage that I'm not sure what to do with. It doesn't have a specific place or a specific spot, but it came out of the garage. This is also some other things that were moved. Actually, this did not come out of the garage. This is stuff that was moved out of the living room and hallway so that we could have room to put things into the other rooms. Specifically in the living room. Here's a small pile of things out in the yard. I looked at the weather and we are not predicted to have rain for the next 10 days. There is a 15% chance tomorrow, so that means we likely will not get anything. So this stuff should be safe here. And here is my last area coming in front of the garage. There's some shelving that I don't know if I'll use in the garage. I might use it in the shed. But this is all the stuff that came out of the garage. I don't have a plan for paints, and most of this stuff I'm thinking of right out into the shed. But this is where I am a bit overwhelmed. Okay, so I got a lot done, but at this point I'm pretty worn out just from all the work of moving things and getting it completely cleared out. I'm also a bit overwhelmed just by all the stuff now that I have to figure out what to do with. I would love to just get started and set up my sewing room, but I know that first, before I do that, I've got to work on getting it ready. So that means insulating the garage door, insulating the wall along that garage door, also insulating the floor. Now I have a few plans for how I want to do that, just a matter of being able to get the materials. If it doesn't cost too much, then I might be able to get the materials tomorrow and Friday. But I don't know how long that's going to take. I'm going to take a rest tonight, and then what I'll probably start doing is sorting through a few things to try to get rid of some. But this is going to be a long process, and this is the part of cleaning and organizing that I don't enjoy at all. I'm just ready to toss it all or make a big bonfire. Does anyone have marshmallows? Don't enjoy it all. Hey everyone, it's Veronica. It is now day 5 of the sewing room renovation. Today I am going to be working on insulation. I went to Lowe's and bought a package of insulation, which I think will be enough. And we're going to work on the roof up there. I have watched several videos on how to do it. This is my first time doing insulation. So I've got my equipment ready. I have my gloves, my long sleeves. I actually do have a mask that I'll be wearing just because it is recommended while you're working on insulation to do that. So hopefully this will go relatively quickly. I do have a ladder that I'll be going up and trying to staple the insulation to the rafters as I'm going. So fingers crossed, here we go. Hi, I'm just checking in at the end of day 5. I did quite a bit of the insulation. I've got almost all of it done on the ceiling. What I have left to do are small little sections. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 sections where the insulation did not meet all the way to the end. So those 5 sections, they're probably about 12 to 18 inches long. So I still have plenty of batting. So I'll need to cut those pieces and then also finish doing the strips along the side on the wall. I have half of one and then a very narrow one, so I'm not really sure. I'll probably just try to cut a strip. It's a little hard to do. And then on the other side of the wall, I've got half of a small strip. What I'm just noticing is with one of these, it's kind of a bigger gap. So I'm going to get this spray foam that I saw at the store. It's called Great Stuff, and it will expand and fill in a spot there. So I think that'll be really great there. I wanted to get it completely done, but it is hot. The sun is coming full blast into the garage, and I have to keep the door closed so I can still reach everything. So I'm going to call it today done, and tomorrow I should be able to get up early and start right away with that, get that done, and then I can look at what my next step might be. All right, we'll check in later. Good morning. We are now at the beginning of day 6. I already finished the main insulation in the room, but I am now here at Lowe's because now we're doing just the little bits here and there. Right now I am here to pick up some thin foam insulation to be able to put on the garage door to insulate that. I'm also hoping to get some window cling. They have some different ones that are good for privacy and heat reduction. So I'm going to look at that. And I might look at some options for finishing off the walls, but I do have an idea of some things for the ceiling. Mainly, I'm thinking of putting fabric up there. I might do the same thing on the walls around the garage door. It's kind of a tricky area, and I don't really have the equipment for being able to cut things down, and I don't relish the idea of trying to pick up a big piece of wallboard because it may not fit in my car. I've measured the car. It is just at 4 feet, and the foam that I need to get is 4 feet wide, so we'll see if it fits. Here we go. Okay, so this is beginning at the door where I come in from the main part of the house, and I've got this room pretty clear. You can see I still have some of my tools from working, but it's all been cleared out. There's my little electric stove that looks like a wood stove, which I'm very excited about. Here is the insulation of the paneling on the garage door. I'll next be working on the windows because I do want to get some film on that to help protect the glare. Over here we also have these shelves are all cleared and swept. You cannot see it anymore, but there was insulation up there, and now I have fabric up on the ceiling to cover it up. I have a couple of areas that I need to work on. Need to trim that fabric down just on that end. And then in sections where I had to cut, I had 2 spots where I had to cut. So I need to figure that out and kind of neaten that up. I haven't finished stapling. Right now I have just the main section stapled so that it'll stay up, but I want to do a few more staplings to keep it really nice and taut. And you can see the fabric all there. I'm blowing out here. Let me come over this way. There we go. You can see on this side, on either side of the door, I have insulation that I still need to cover. So that will be a job that I do. And then I'm looking at the walls and probably giving a fresh coat of paint on there. So overall, I'm really happy with how this week has gone. I have had some days this week where I thought there is no way I'll ever get this done. There's so much stuff. What have I gotten myself into? And I can still feel that a little bit because there's so much stuff now in the living room. But once I get this spot ready, and I'm almost there, but once I have the main part of getting it done, then I can start moving my things in, especially on the shelves. So this next week we'll be finishing some things off. I had debated back and forth on whether to paint, but I think it would be a good idea just to get a fresh coat down on these walls. The part that still has insulation bare, I'm actually not going to put wallboard or anything like that up, partly because it's a little bit more money than what I'm wanting to spend, and also it's super heavy. I'm doing this project on my own. I don't have a car that will actually fit it. The foam that I had gotten was 4x8, and I barely got that into my car. I know that wallboard or sheetrock is also 4x8, but that's also stiffer and heavier. And when I was driving with the foam, I had to have my hand up here by my head holding it so it wouldn't fly out the back of the car. I had to leave that open. I don't want to do that with the sheetrock. I know I'm only a mile away, but I don't want to pay the money for it and then have it fly out of my car and shatter on the ground. So, because I don't want to deal with that, I've decided to do the same treatment that I did on my ceiling in putting up fabric. I haven't found the kind of fabric I want to put up yet. I don't think I want to do just the basic gray like what I did on the ceiling. On the ceiling, it's perfect. I love just the neutral gray. It's still light, but it's not too light where it's going to start looking dingy, like if I had used a white. I really like that. I think I would like to have something with a little bit more color. Maybe just something with a little bit, I don't know. I haven't found what I want. I'm going to walk through Joann's. I might do that today, although we're getting really close to them closing. But I'm not too concerned about trying to get that done right away. So for this next week, I think my goals will be to get the walls painted. Hopefully, I'm also looking at doing trim around the ceiling, and that will help to finish off the edges of the fabric that are along the ceiling there. And I have some spots up on my ceiling. You can see right up there and over there. Whoever put up the wall, of course it's just a garage, so they didn't care, but there are big sections that are cut out. And I'm thinking that I might have some wood actually in my shed that should be long enough to create a nice finish, at least on that edge. So the progress probably won't be as quick as what I would like, but I know that it'll give more of a finished look and make it more pleasing in the long run. So it'll take a little bit longer. I'm anxious to just start moving in, but I think taking these few extra steps will really help to finish it off so that it will be a space that I'm super happy with, and that I'm not looking at thinking, oh, now I have to cover things up because I really do want to paint now. So I'll take that little bit of extra time and start working on that. I hope you are enjoying watching this progress as I go through my studio renovation and creating a space that is strictly my own and one that I can continue to create from. I hope you'll join me next week for another update and following my progress on creating So It Seems Studio out in my garage. This is Veronica Johnson with So It Seems. And remember, keep stitching. Bye.